Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this Thursday evening. The sensex gains over 300 points as bulls move into uncharted territory. Nifty ends at a record high for the sixth straight session. Except Eicher Motors, all Nifty stocks have recorded gains in the last 8 sessions. Crude oil prices on a tight leash as fears over demand offset tighter supply forecast. The CEO of Saudi Aramco blames recessionary signals around the world but says he's optimistic about future demand. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen begins a 4-day visit to China, hoping to find common ground and improve ties between both nations. This is the second trip by a U.S. cabinet official in the last 3 weeks after Secretary of State Antony Blinken met President Xi Jinping. Instagram's Twitter rival Threads goes live, gains 10 million users in just the first 7 hours. Mark Zuckerberg posts his first tweet in 11 years, taking a jibe at Elon Musk with a popular Spider-Man meme. Once valued at over $5 billion, PharmEasy now seeks fresh funding and a 90% valuation cut after 2 of its acquisitions underperform. While Acmed's losses widen 10 times in a year, the other acquisition, ThyroCare, saw a 2/3 fall in its valuation in 2 years. Sale of passenger vehicles crossed 2 million mark for the first time in the first 6 months of 2023. Three-wheeler sales also hit a record high. Two-wheeler sales remain a sore thumb, remaining below pre-COVID levels. NCP patriarch Sharad Pawar in Delhi to convene a working committee meeting days after more MLAs turned up at Ajit Pawar's meeting. MLAs supporting Ajit Pawar currently camping in a Mumbai hotel. Affidavits signed by them have been submitted to the Election Commission. The global hemp market is set to touch nearly $10 billion this year, and Indian startups are eyeing a piece of the market. Ratan Tata was the first to invest in 2017. Since then, investors have started to make a beeline. A CNBC-TV18 special coming up. Well, another good day for the bulls. The Nifty ending at record closing highs for the 6th straight day and breached the 19,500 mark in intraday trade. In fact, the Nifty has gained close to 5% in the last 8 trading sessions alone. Mid-caps outperformed the blue chips with that index soaring. India's market cap continues to sail new peaks after hitting 302 lakh crore rupees yesterday. Surbi standing by with the details. Surbi, at this moment, it looks like there is no stopping the bulls.
Well, what a fantastic Thursday the bulls have had, and they are stamping their authority on the street. And today it was defying all odds, defying what were very weak global cues. You know, some of the markets in our neighborhood, like the Hong Kong Hang Seng, for instance, they were down almost 3%. Japan was down 2%. Europe, while we were trading, was down about 1%, but the Indian market kept marching higher. In fact, what we're seeing in the market now is seeming like a bit of a mini melt up. Why do I say that? Because on an intraday basis, the Nifty actually crossed the 19,500 mark today, and it has taken just 6 sessions to do that. From 19,000 to 19,500, we're talking 6 sessions. It didn't close above that level, but it was pretty much there on an intraday basis. So what led the rally today? It was a mix of FMCG stocks and continued buying in some auto names as well. So when you're talking FMCG, names like Nestle, Britannia did really well. On auto, some of the names like Bajaj took a backseat. Eicher continued to be under pressure because of the huge disruption we're seeing in the top of the bike market. But you had names like M&M, Tata Motors, they were heading higher. Reliance lent good support to the market as well. And the banks joined the party in the second half. So names like Kotak Mahindra Bank, Axis, even HDFC Bank for that matter, they all started contributing towards the afternoon. OMC stocks, by the way, have had a very good rally on expectations of more capital coming in from the government and higher earnings and better marketing margins. So IOC, BPCL, HPCL, all stocks up between 2 to 4%. Mid-caps have been sizzling. Whatever doubts there were at the start of the week on the mid-cap rally, they've been put to rest today. The advanced decline ratio was super strong. Some names, Seat moving up 20% on circuit, JK Tyre, real estate names like Lodha, Macrotech developers, Purvankara, all of them seeing very, very sizable gains. I'll just end with a small data point on flows. FPI flows so far in July, and that's just 4 trading sessions. They are already 35% of the total net inflows we got in June. The numbers, FPI flows, 16,800 crores so far in July in 4 trading sessions, as opposed to 47,100 odd crores that we got in all of June. They say you don't bet against money, and that's what the bulls seem to be doing as the market continues to march higher.
Well, it certainly is moving higher, touching new records every day for the last 8 trading sessions. That is the market for you for now. In the oil market, crude prices traded in a range. This is tighter supply cuts from Saudi Arabia and Russia, coupled with a larger than expected drop in US crude inventories, were offset by worries of sluggish demand recovery in China. The CEO of the world's largest oil producer, Saudi Aramco, said that there are recessionary signals from around the world, even as he is optimistic about future demand. Well, that is Aramco's CEO on global supply and demand. Global rice prices, which are already at an 11-year high, are set to rise further this after India, which accounts for 40% exports, hiked the minimum selling price of rice by 7%. Further, the threat of El Nino impacting yields also looms large. The fall in output due to the Russia-Ukraine war has also pushed rice prices higher. India's finance ministry believes its management of the macroeconomy has been, and I quote, stellar, while also adding that external headwinds could challenge India's FY24 growth prospects. The finance ministry released the annual economic review for the month of May. It's highlighted that India needs to continue to take measures to facilitate FDI inflows. The ministry also highlighted a rebound in private capex via proxy indicators. The big global story. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has arrived in Beijing today for a 4-day visit. Yellen's visit is aimed at securing common ground and improving the very fraught relationship between the U.S. and China. Just 2 weeks ago, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met China's President Xi Jinping. A bevy of U.S. corporate leaders, including Tim Cook, Elon Musk, Jamie Dimon and others, have visited China earlier this year. Yunus Yoon is here with more on Secretary Yellen's visit and its potential impact. Yunus. Yunus, many thanks for joining us. We will, of course, be tracking that story very closely. Retail vehicle sales have witnessed a 10% growth year-on-year. That's for the month of June, with all segments recording positive performance. According to the Federation of Auto Dealers Association, the passenger vehicle, three-wheeler and tractor segment have recorded the highest ever June sales. Commercial vehicle sales in June surpassing pre-COVID levels for the first time. However, two-wheeler sales still below the pre-COVID levels. And speaking of two-wheelers, Eicher Motors stock has been on rough terrain for the last 3 days. This on the back of Hero Moto and Bajaj Auto expanding their footprint in the premium bike market. The Royal Enfield incumbent is the company that manufactures bikes like the Himalayan, etc. It is the market leader in that space. The Eicher stock lost close to 3% in trade today. It's lost a market cap of 11,200 crore rupees in the last 3 trading sessions. Brokerages have lowered their target prices on the stock. Rima is standing by to take us through how the numbers stack up for Royal Enfield. Rima.
Thanks so much for that. So today, both UBS and Kotak Mahindra, Kotak Institutional Equities has lowered the target price on Eicher Motors. UBS has a neutral call on Eicher Motors. They believe the loss of potential Royal Enfield customers is imminent. We could see replacement purchases being triggered as RE customers look to upgrade their existing 350 series. Kotak has a sell call on Royal Enfield, on Eicher Motors, with the target price going all the way down to 2,720. According to them, Kotak Institutional Equities, Royal Enfield may have to cut prices if it has to defend its market share. And according to them, the market share of Royal Enfield will fall down from 90% to 75%. They also bring down the EPS estimates because, one, they're assuming lower volumes, and two, they're also assuming lower EBITDA margins. So Eicher Motors continues to remain under pressure for the 3rd consecutive session, and now brokerages are taking note of the competition and bringing down their target prices and EPS estimates. Back to you.
Rima, many thanks for joining us. Well, speaking of pressure, once valued at over $5 billion, unicorn PharmEasy is looking at a down round of funding. Now, this fresh round is expected to be at an 85 to 90% drop in valuations. But what has led to such a sharp fall in valuations in the last 2 years? And what was India's first e-pharmacy to enter into the unicorn club, backed by blue-blooded private equity companies like TPG and Temasek? What did it get wrong? Ekta Batra tells us more on what's ailing PharmEasy. Ekta.
Thanks for that. Well, one of the biggest problems the industry watchers say is that PharmEasy expanded too fast too soon. The valuations of the company rose rapidly, aided by the COVID-19 froth around healthcare companies. It entered into the unicorn club with a $1.5 billion valuation in April 2021, and in just a matter of few months went to around $5.6 billion in terms of valuation. The company at the same time in 2021 went on a rapid expansion spree to position itself as a broader online healthcare firm, say industry watchers. The company shelled out around close to 6,000 crores on 3 acquisitions, from Indian online healthcare platform MedLife to Bangalore-based supply chain firm AcnaMed and its biggest bet, Thyrocare, the listed diagnostic chain, which PharmEasy bought for over 4,500 crores. The company took on debt to fund a lot of the expansion, pledging 100% of its stake in Thyrocare to fund the $600 million buyout. As of September 2021, the debt stood close to around 2,500 crores. The company planned a $1 billion IPO to pay it off, but was eventually shelved. It eventually took a $285 million loan from Goldman Sachs to pay off their earlier debt, but breached the loan covenant. The acquisition, it seems, didn't pay off as anticipated. AcnaMed's loss has widened over 10 times in 1 year. Thyrocare's valuations have plummeted 60% from the time PharmEasy bought it, with 100% of the promoters' shares pledged since September 2021. The diagnostic business has also been impacted by factors such as COVID-19 gains petering off, competition in the space, quality perception issues and transition issues, and fundamentals such as margins worsening to as low as 18% from a peak of around 50%. Now, on the other hand, the online pharmacy space has been weighed down by fierce competition and regulatory uncertainty. Additionally, industry watchers say platform service companies have had difficulty scaling up post-COVID-19 as consumer behavior hasn't been as sticky as anticipated. The fresh round of funding is expected to be used to clear up the current loans with the company. The company, which logged its first EBITDA profit of around 14 crores in April, will aim to improve financials. Lastly, another trigger to watch for will be the journey of Thyrocare and whether a stake sale will be contemplated.
All right, Ekta, many thanks for joining us. That is the pressure that PharmEasy finds itself under, and it's not just the only unicorn in trouble at this point in time. Jewelry retail player Senco Gold's 400 crore rupee IPO got subscribed by more than 68 times as of 4 p.m. The highest demand came in from qualified institutional buyers who placed bids 163 times of the shares on offer. Meanwhile, the retail book got subscribed 14.5 times. India Cellular and Electronic Association has requested the Finance Ministry to reduce tariffs on products imported for electronic manufacturing. The ICEA has submitted a study to the ministry that higher tariffs raise the cost of electronic production by up to 4%. The industry body claims that higher import tariffs accentuates India's cost disability vis-a-vis China, Vietnam, Thailand and Mexico. Take a look.
The leap from 75 billion to 300 billion of electronic production is a 400% growth. And export growth attempted is 1,200%. And we are on track, as you can see. So the maturity of the Indian economy and the maturity of our mindset that we have to take a share of the world is setting in. And in that, we cannot afford anything which is suboptimal. And our tariff regime is a part of a legacy of import substitution. And it has outlived its utility. So today we need to have a new regime, and we need to decompress what has happened in the past.
Well, the big global story from the tech world that could potentially change the social media landscape. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has unveiled Threads. It's a platform built by Instagram where users can share videos, images and links along with text. Users who have an account on Instagram can directly log on to the app or be imported into the app. Experts are dubbing this new app as a rival to Elon Musk on Twitter. Sarah McLaughlin of NBC joins us now with more on what's buzzing in the social space and the... Well, CNBC-TV18 is now available on Threads as well, so you can tweet us or you can thread us. Now, a knockout is not certain yet, but Mark Zuckerberg's Threads has definitely drawn first blood. Within just 7 hours, Threads has hit 10 million sign-ups. And while the jury is still out on tallying the score after round 1, Shilpa breaks down what this new app is all about. Shilpa, does Threads have enough punch to push Twitter into a corner?
Well, like one early user and influencer said, Threads currently is a mashup of Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and the fact that it has allowed Instagram users to port their entire profiles and followers onto the platform has helped most Thread users get off to a flying start. This has even given Threads a bit of a head start because most of the logins are currently coming from Instagram, and that's a ready cache of 2 billion plus users. And as features go, the interface, look and feel is currently a lot like Twitter, and the app allows posts with a character limit of about 500 along with pictures, links and 5-minute videos. Remember, Twitter on the other hand allows unlimited characters with 280 characters visible for verified users, with the rest having to be unfurled. Now, there are quite a few features that are quite similar to both Twitter and Instagram. For instance, you can control mentions, unfollow people you've lost interest in or had a fight with or followed by mistake. Restrict access. You can also restrict access to your content and report wrongdoing or misbehavior. Now, some of the big differences, however, unlike Twitter, Threads does not have a web app, nor does it have direct messaging feature yet. Also, there is no way to discover trends like you do on Twitter using hashtags. Also, you cannot save a draft of a thread and come back to it later. For users, especially those who are obsessed with that little blue tick, Threads has an edge there because Twitter only offers paid verification, especially for new users. You can automatically get a verified account on Threads if you have a verified account on Instagram already. Also, there are no restrictions on the number of posts one can view or publish like those imposed by Twitter. The question, of course, is whether Threads will make Twitter unravel. And here's one big hurdle to that. The user demographic. Twitter has currently become a key source of news for users, while Instagram is more of a photo and reel sharing platform with a much younger demographic. So it's still unclear whether these people will still continue on Threads if Threads positions itself as a pure replacement to Twitter. For now, it's quite clear that Threads has given Twitter a bloody nose. 10 million users in 7 hours is a lot quicker than the 2 years it took Twitter to hit just 1 million users, or the 5 days it took ChatGPT to get to 1 million. Now, whether a body blow will follow, we'll know that only when the next bell goes.
All right, Shilpa, many thanks for joining us. Not quite the cage fight that one was anticipating, but a fight nevertheless. And like I mentioned, CNBC-TV18 is available on Threads. We're also available on Twitter, YouTube. Do log on to our website, CNBC-TV18.com. The channel is also available on the Geo Cinema app. Well, the Congress top brass held a crucial strategy meeting as it gears up for the Rajasthan elections later this year. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot attending the meeting as well. The party also took stock of their organizational strategy in other poll-bound states. Parikshit is standing by with the details. Parikshit, what happened in this 4-hour-long meeting that was held today?
Well, this is a series of meetings that the Congress party is holding on poll-bound states. There have been 4 meetings already for states like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh as well. And this was actually the 5th meeting, and very important because we're seeing a tussle in Rajasthan, a fight between Ashok Gehlot, the chief minister, and former PCC chief and sitting MLA Sachin Pilot. Sachin Pilot has been looking for a larger role in the party to be accommodated in some form. We were hoping and we were hearing that there is a possibility a larger role for Sachin Pilot could be announced after this meeting by Rahul Gandhi. But that press conference by Rahul Gandhi got postponed to tomorrow. After that, KC Venugopal addressed a press briefing where he said that the whole party has decided to fight unitedly, and any kind of indiscipline or speaking out of turn outside the party will not be tolerated. So that seems to be a very strong message. At the same time, he said the party will be going into the elections without a face. They will not be announcing any name or chief ministerial face so far. At the same time, they said that the campaign for Rajasthan elections will begin for the Congress from tomorrow itself. MLAs and ministers will go door to door campaigning about all the schemes that the Rajasthan government has launched in the last 5 years. The whole crux was indiscipline will not be tolerated. The party is united in Rajasthan. We're expecting some organizational changes in other poll-bound states in the next 7 to 8 days. There will be changes in the Congress Working Committee meeting, and there will be leaders, many newer faces who could be brought in as state in charges, coordinators for the election-bound states.
All right, Parikshit, many thanks for joining us. From one political battle to the other, the political spectacle in Maharashtra intensifying. Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar has claimed that the NCP party name and symbol is his after his mutiny with Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar, meanwhile, is in Delhi today for the party's national executive meeting. A statement from Ajit Pawar's faction has said that he represents the real NCP, that there is no person within the party that had the authority to call for a meeting until the dispute was settled by the Election Commission. Meanwhile, Shiv Sena leaders have raised concerns over Ajit Pawar's inclusion in the Maharashtra government. However, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde clarified that all was well.
राज्य में डबल इंजन की सरकार जो हम कहते अजीत दादा के भी वही विचार है, तो इसीलिए वो साथ में आए हैं और आगे तो और काम होगा, मजबूती से काम होगा। और इसमें ये तो सब रूमर है, ये अफवाह है। ये अरे कितने हद तक जाना, मैं तो कहूंगा कि उनकी जो पार्टी की हालत है वो हालत को देखना चाहिए उन्होंने।
All is well, says Eknath Shinde, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Now, the global hemp market is set to touch nearly $10 billion this year, and Indian startups are eyeing a piece of that market. Ratan Tata was the first Indian investor to invest in 2017. Since then, investors have started to make a beeline. Here's an excerpt from our special show, Mad About Markets, where Mangla Malu and Ritu Singh delve deeper into the hemp market.
When we talk about the hemp industry, it's attracted some really big names and exciting startups as well in this space. And the biggest of them all was Ratan Tata and ex-Google Rajan Anandan in 2017 invested in Bohiko. That was one big deal that brought attention to the hemp industry as a whole. It showed their belief in its potential as well. Following soon was Hindustan Media Ventures, which invested in Hemp Horizons in 2020 itself. And very recently, Zerodha founder Nitin Kamath tweeted his conviction to allocate some capital to hemp-focused startups. And speaking about startups, we have a bunch of them in India. Hemp & Co, there's Hemp Strawl, there's Green Jams, Hemp Street, Satliva, Hemp Republic, and so many more driving innovations in this space itself. And by 2027, it is projected that there could be around 500 companies working in industries related to hemp in India itself. So that's the big opportunity we're talking about, Ritu.
And let's take it to where, they're really selling this e-commerce, right? We often talk about that here as well. The e-commerce opportunity for hemp products, that is booming, especially in the last couple of years. So, It's Hemp, an online marketplace that has emerged as one of the key players and offers more than 2,000 products from licensed cannabis manufactured in Uttarakhand, from hemp-based food products to cosmetics, textiles, you have pet care, you have construction materials. I mean, you name it. You wouldn't have imagined that these kind of products can be made. And they are available at a click of a button, catering to the growing demands of conscious consumers.
Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news continues when we return.